Hey guys, it's ViewMasters Reactions, and we're back with episode 26, Talks Machina. I still am not 100% sure if Molly is dead. That is obviously going to be the major point of discussion in all this, besides the battle we had where it occurred. We lost horribly to the point of death. Maybe we don't get Molly back necessarily, but I feel like there's more to it. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but I'm just going to hold on to this small little ray of hope. But I wore this shirt because I felt it was fitting, being as Molly was always playing with his tarot cards, and there's a dead king of hearts, and we lost Molly. I don't know who's in this episode. I had it put right to the screen, and I don't know. I didn't look. I didn't watch. Normally, I watch the beginning. I just want to, start it here, go right in, and just go with it. The problem is, if it was, Caleb or not, I could see them both being on because they're, best friends, so one another would be on for each other's episode. Molly's kind of a loner. The only one that's his friend is Yasha, and Ashley is not even in the state. So my guess is Matt Mercer would be on the show. I got this out very late as well. You guys are getting this Friday morning. I'm literally doing this at 5 a.m. on Friday. You guys are going to get it in a couple hours. I don't know if I said that right. You guys are going to get it in a couple hours. So I stayed up to do Nope, the movie Nope, Jordan Peele. I did a bunch of clips and stuff. I just finished all that, and I'm like, let me finish Talks Machina. I was delaying it intentionally. I was like, I know it's going to be an emotional shit show. And then from here, I'm going to do the Alpha Talk and then do the 4 episodes because it's already a month. So I'm going to do 4 episodes in Alpha Talk. That'll probably come out Sunday. Let's just jump in. You guys want to see more of what I do. Full unedited episodes, all the shows on the channel, seasons ahead of what you're seeing, hundreds of exclusives you only see on Patreon. The link is at the end. Dozens of shows you'll only see on YouTube. I just don't have time to edit it all. Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Eureka, Infinity Train just started. Check it out. If not, Campaign 2, Episode 26. Found and Lost. And I have my favorite watermelon, but
welcome back.
Look at him all fancy.
We have some crit roll stats for this episode.
Oh no.
This
Brian is in the
be a nice
fanciest
icebreaker
attire
for us to
I've
get
ever
into
seen him in.
before we get into the heavy shit.
Heavy
Episode
shit.
26
I heard a
has
girl.
the most natural 20s in campaign 2.
Could have been Danny.
Really?
In a campaign 2 episode with a total of 14.
That's not Danny.
Really?
Many thanks to
the
you,
guest.
obviously.
Yeah,
Ashley.
you were
Ashley.
popping him off the whole time.
Yeah.
And Matt
That's anything
Mercer.
for me, man. I don't know
Made
why
sense.
I like you so much.
I didn't
Yeah, 'cause
expect
you
her.
used one of
I didn't
Taliesin's
even think
dice,
about her.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
No
all of the
offense.
different one
I
shots
just
I've
didn't
been on,
think.
I don't have my own dice bag, so it's just
But
the wrist flick, I
The
guess.
barroom blitz
I have.
one, you rolled 5 natural 20s in that one too.
Just don't get your own
I
dice.
must have something.
I know,
in
I
my
just didn't
eye.
borrow other people's.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
even
Screw with
joking.
their
My
mojo
eyes
and
been
then get
itching
the
all
dice.
day.
Yeah.
That's a
like I have
fantastic idea.
It's like a Lux siphon. Just
Maybe you can just sit next to me when I play D&D, and that will be enough to transfer,
I don't know, I wasn't
But then
helping
you'd
Sam out any.
Well, that's true.
Cheers to this
Sam was not rolling well.
heartfelt emotional
that
roller
tuxedo
coaster
acted
we're
like
probably gonna go on. I
bulletproof
feel like it's
vest
going to get sad.
for his roles. So total of 14 in this one episode, tying with Campaign 1, episode 55, 61, and 100 for most nat 20s. Keg has the most natural 20s of any guest player in a single episode, which was 4.
damn.
4?
Yeah.
Dang. And then 2 or
Dang.
twice in a row.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Not to diminish that at all, but it was a 17-hour episode, so it did take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
It was
Molly got the
5
mighty
hours.
Nines,
We did it in
100
4 and a
kill.
half.
Oh.
And leads the party, leads the party or led the party with 21 kills in all.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Hot murder streak before
That was-
dying. That's the way to go.
You know,
Yeah.
hot murder streak.
I love
The
it.
Molly was leading the
we have
pack
seen
in
7
kills.
of Molly's cards. Silver Dragon, Anvil, Serpent,
That's why I wore a card.
Eye, Moon, Shadow, the Chariot, and Meatloaf Paradise by the Dashboard. I just made that last one.
Paradise by
I
the
think Serpent should be
Dashboard
Dragon
Light.
just to
Great
check it
song.
all. Yeah, I think that sounds right.
You hear that, crit roll stats?
I'll have to double. Yeah, it should be. I eventually will finish that deck regardless of anything that happens.
You please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
Please.
I
do.
want to know how much it
all right,
costs
before we get
to do
into the
his
fan
hair.
questions,
Or
I
if he
wanna
does it
talk to you
himself.
guys. Ashley, obviously, welcome back to
Or
Critical Role and
maybe
Talks
he just
Machina.
knows
Your
people,
first
'cause that
time
looks
as
like it
a
would be
guest on
expensive
a
to
campaign
maintain.
episode.
Yes.
He's
I've only done one shot.
Very fancy all the time, and
What's
it's
the
very
biggest difference?
well done.
Oh, in the one shots, people didn't die quite as much. There was a bit less dying.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool to feel like I'm part of a larger narrative that will have implications, obviously, past. I'm sorry. It's
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
We love Ashley.
We've ruined.
We love Ashley. I want to say, and Mac, jump in on this too, if you want. I want to commend
forgot
you
the shirt
for. I
was
know
like
that there's
a
a
triple XL, so
tiny,
it's baggy
tiny,
as hell.
extremely insignificant part of the community that likes to lash out sometimes at people. Marisha had a great tweet saying, like, lash out at us all we want because we don't care. Do not lash out at the guests. And I just want to say, I thought that what you did was one of the most perfect examples of consistent role-playing choices that I have seen. Like, beyond just giving yourself disadvantage because you were frightened, I mean, you acted how that character would have instead of going, I'm going to
100%
deny
agree.
that because I want to help out more or keep these people that have to be on the show every week alive or
She
whatever
was
else.
like, I
You're
said
probably
this.
grateful that
She was
she did that, even though it
100%
turned
in
out
the
the
character.
way it
Absolutely
did.
grateful, and like just, I mean, like I'll say, just from a math standpoint, it wouldn't have done any good.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was- we were.
Yeah,
There were
roles
other
bad.
factors
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were a bit
bad rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just
Thank you
wanted
for
to
saying that.
encourage you because I know it's probably, you've probably had so many emotions
Well,
since Thursday.
And to be fair, everyone has been very nice directly to me.
Good.
I've mostly heard whispers of people hating
Yeah.
me, which is totally.
That's how it works
you
on
know.
the internet.
And
What if
that's
she's
what-
like,
Behind closed
I
doors
didn't know
and
anybody hated me
undercovers
until
that
you
you
just said
aren't
it.
looking at.
Right.
You're like, oh, she's great. But I would have done
I felt that
Yeah.
tension as well because I and we didn't talk. I mean, I didn't know anything really about their stats or how powerful they would be, but I had nervousness just knowing the history of this character, and
Yeah.
there was a point where I thought, oh man, I really don't want to leave them in the lurch, but it just wouldn't feel true to the character. So
Yeah.
that's the first time I've ever done anything like that in a D&D campaign as well.
It was
so.
a great choice, and it was really a lesson for me in role playing. It was like, whoa, that's how you really commit to it.
Well, and this is an interesting
Honestly,
point too. It's
it
choices
stood
like
out.
that.
I
I've always said
totally get
before,
what they're
I'm a big fan
saying.
of bold choices in your Dungeons and Dragons role-playing games, not just action-wise, but role-playing wise, going with what makes sense.
I think I
regardless
even
of
asked you guys,
if it's most
'cause
you
we
know,
did it in the live
strategically
stream,
optimal.
whether or
and
not
sometimes knowing
she
that it's
was
a detriment
just
to your character,
doing that
because it's
'cause
those
that's how
moments,
she'd
especially
be,
moments where you falter
or
as a
she
hero,
was
that I
a
think define
professional.
the next step of your arc. It's being able to look at oneself and be like, I failed. That is a really interesting story to follow. And so even just with that brief bit of time we saw Keg, we got to see this very strong exterior, this very kind of cocksure, fuck you attitude. And then when faced with a, show your mettle circumstance against a specific person that could shake that exterior, it was very wild and very unique to watch that completely crumble. And I think it's gonna have some really interesting. I'm excited to see what happens with Keg in the next episode or two.
Me too. Yeah.
And we have another guest that's gonna come
She's
on.
got
and
good
hopefully
hair
kill
too.
Someone else too.
Like
this
they all
week.
have like really
Yeah.
fancy hairstyles
I'm
and
sorry.
stuff like
I'm
that.
sorry, Danny. I'm
Only
sorry.
I get to kill main characters.
That was the
That's
deal that we
me.
made.
It's special for me.
It's on the paperwork you signed before you came on. Choose which character of the Mighty Nine you don't want to see on the show anymore.
It's not true. I love
No,
Taliesin
it's not
so
true.
much.
She did take my character sheet later and like slowly cut it with a knife.
Oh my God, Ashley! Goodness.
The funny thing is,
gracious.
Tal'dorei
Wow.
was the one saying, let's
Way to
just
kick a guy
do our
while he's
mission and get the
blue.
hell
Sense
out of
humor for
here.
this particular environment. I really.
And he ends up
Whatever
dying
you need
because
to
he
do.
side quested
Hey,
20
This is your
times.
show.
We laugh so that we don't cry into our frosted flakes. That's
Yes.
what's it been like for you since Thursday night? What's been going on?
Well, I hadn't slept the night before already.
I mean, the
And then
fact
I
that
didn't
they're
sleep that
making
night
such a
either.
big deal
Yeah.
about
Oh,
it,
you were
I'm
not
starting
expecting when you
to
showed up
honestly
Thursday night
believe
that
this is
that would
the
be
end,
the end of
for
the
like
world.
ever,
No, it
ever.
really was not. And then I went home
Unless
and
they're
I
really
went
selling
fetal
it.
and had some feelings for a while, and then eventually the sun rose, and I was like,
I mean, it is
oh
what it is.
shit,
I guess
have
you
not
guys
thought
told
about
me.
another character. I was supposed to do this like months ago, just have something waiting in the wings, and no, I did not do do any of that.
You also had the finale of Gather Your Party the
that
next
we had
night.
to put together the 24 hours later, and I did that, and
Man,
other projects that I can't talk about that were
Yeah.
like, well, this is oh God,
What if?
this is the
do
worst
it.
Are
week.
you allowed?
Yeah.
Like they're saying he's
But-
going to play
so I
another
spent the weekend
character.
rolling a new
Are you
character.
allowed to play
yes. That's
a
exciting.
character
I feel like I owe
involved
you
in
a
the life
cake
of your
or a
dead
dinner or
character?
a
Like, could he be another
You should
I will
buy him a
happily
keg of
take
something.
a
adversary
should.
of
drink in a
Molly
cake
before
in a-
Molly
I
was
don't know,
Molly?
Yeah.
maybe like a-
You just bring cake.
yeah.
That's not a bad
Yeah,
move.
it's true.
We can. Yeah, I'm a big fan of stress eating.
We
so that's
don't
okay.
really turn down
I like
cake
my
very
feels.
often.
But yeah, no, it was
do not turn
the
down
weekend was
cake.
spent trying to figure out what, like after 6 months making Molly Mock when we had our
I just-
break and
I
really
didn't
thinking about
just
it, it's
realize.
like from that point,
But
like,
Matt
you have 3 days to
often
get your shit together.
wears
It's like, oh no.
that
God,
kind of
yeah.
shirt with that kind of
Okay,
vest,
I'm all
I
right.
guess
I'm
you
all right.
call
I'm
it.
happy.
Is
Matt,
that
the
just a
other thing I
look
wanted
he
to
does,
ask
or
you
is that
about is
something he
I
specifically wears?
noticed, I watched the episode
this kind of
twice because I
stuff?
was watching it live, and then Ashley got home from work about halfway through the show and fell asleep immediately, which is what she does so she doesn't have to talk to me. And
That's what we all do.
I woke her up because I was typing on my computer, and then I heard Taliesin say, my blood maledict's gonna kill me. And I'm like, wait, how many points does he have? That whole thing. I'm shaking Ashley to wake her up, and she's like, what's happening? I'm like, this is bad. You need to see this. And then we rewound it and watched it again. And I noticed there's times where you definitively frame things in a way that
The
is
fact
not
that
trying to
people
wink
were
at or hint to the characters necessarily in a direct way that something bad's about to happen, or are you sure you want to do this, or however else. But I noticed you were hesitating a lot more than usual as things went on, even when you were going to bring out the map that I now want to burn ceremoniously and send the remains somewhere. But you
See,
were
he
like,
knew something
I'm
was
gonna
wrong,
bring out this
Brian.
map. This is for you guys to think long and hard about what you want to do. What the heck was going through your mind? Did you think an encounter this deadly would happen this early in the campaign?
I mean, this particular group, the Iron
Lorenzo
Shepherd, is designed
is
to be a very
very strong.
when they're all together in a space where they can work in conjunction with each other, they're a very dangerous group. And I instilled that a bit with the history that Ashley's character had. And it was, you know, as a dungeon master, you have to prepare for many possibilities. And so I'd thought about the possibility of them just following them. And if they had kept the cart, they would never have caught up to them, and it would have been just like eventually finding their way to the northern city of Shady Creek Run, and then maybe trying to find information about them there.
So by us
finding
picking
them in
up
public
the
space,
pace,
you know.
we got
if they did
caught.
catch
Well,
up,
we
if they were
caught.
just going to pursue them at a distance and kind of learn from them, you know, kind of intel gathering, or if they were going to, for a brief
We
time, there was
should-
discussion of sneaking in the night
I mean,
and trying to get people out.
It don't matter.
I had
now.
that as a
No
possible
sense in
encounter
talking
set up in
about it,
case
but
that
he's
happened.
basically saying you
And
should
I
have got
had, in case they
intel.
decided to attack them, you know, some things that could go together. And so when I described the hills, the 2 hills on the sides, I had
We
terrain pieces I
literally
put
went
together
in
real fast
blind.
back there. And,
I feel like Ashley,
but as they progressively began to discuss this,
character,
it's one of those things where you have
should
to decide.
warned us a little more though. If he's that,
Try and give them
She
signs
did
of
say he
how
was badass.
dangerous this might be. Seeing that they were more than 5 was my first kind of real clue. Actually knowing how dangerous they are was another clue. Really trying to kind of, without telling them directly, are you sure you want to do this? This could possibly be very bad. You know, because I don't want to guide them too hard on a path per se. And this honestly kind of acts as a lesson in the future to gauge what you're fighting. If you think there's any chance that it's not going to work out, you know, ask, you know, how tough do they look? How,
I'm
you
all
know,
about going in guns blazing.
Can I really
but
read?
he like
what we're
had
about to
no
go up
outs.
against? And
He like went in just
as
put
I
all
was
his
nervous,
eggs in
I
one
was fucking
basket.
nervous, and you could see as it went on, because I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work. And my intent with the battle was to show some surprises based on their intel through Keg, that showed that they really didn't know what they were up against.
Yeah.
And instead it
And-
backfired into death.
As a mortal man was hoping to rely on that surprise to maybe be enough of a indicator that this might not be a fight. you
He
should
was
continue.
hoping that Talzin would realize
But you never
I
know how
should
your player's
back
gonna
off.
react.
Instead,
and I'm
he
an
went
imperfect person.
all in.
And
I could see you affected though.
yeah, the point. I think the point got across. I just, it happened to have a high cost.
You were, I mean, normally you have these very eloquent and thought through, and even the improvised ones,
I feel bad that
descriptions
Matt
of what was happening.
It's so
And as stuff got so
distraught
heavy,
over it
I
because
noticed you were
he
just like going from
clearly
thing to
meant
thing
well.
and not even really taking a lot
It's
of
his
time to describe
game.
it.
I
I
mean,
could
he
see
wants
it,
to make it
visibly see
entertaining.
it affecting
Well,
you.
it was also
I'm
getting
like,
late in the
man,
evening,
it
too.
was. Yeah, it was pretty late.
And there's a certain moment of like, all right, we all want to get to bed at a certain hour, so I won't give a flowery description to thug number 2 shooting a bolt and missing.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I have to really embellish that so much.
The map came out after 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Well, it was,
Yeah.
well, I was under the impression that, like, well, this battle's going to go really quickly one way or the other. Either they're going to spook the group and they're going to keep running, which was the other possibility. But when they dropped the tree to break the first cart, it kind of locked them in place and they wouldn't have sped forward. And so it kind of put it in this position where, like, all right, the battle's going down and we'll see how it goes.
I feel like I should have known in retrospect too when we kept going.
I feel
I was
like
like, it's after, because I
she
saw the
played
time
it
and I was
right.
like, it's after 11. I should have known. Like, he wouldn't be pushing us this far if you thought it was going to be a long battle.
But,
I'm trying to remember
it's
how it
part
went
of
down, but
works
I
out.
feel like
And
Ashley,
any dungeon master
having
who's ever run a game has had a
been
point in the
a
game where they've made an
party
encounter
with
that
them,
either they
should have gave
unintentionally
us
made
more of a
harder than they
warning.
wanted to, or they didn't expect
I
the
know
party
she gave
to
us
go
some
charging
sort of
in,
warning.
guns blazing, and had to find a way to get that point across.
Yeah.
And due to the nature of
Welcome to level 5.
Yeah.
If there's anything that happens at level 5, it's the like, wow, we're getting pretty good at it. No, we're not. We're not getting good at this at all. This is-
spirals.
Is it
Yeah.
possible? And I'm not. You guys know I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. We definitely didn't land on the moon. But other than that, I
Is
am
he gonna
not
ask?
a big conspiracy theorist. But is it possible that the sexual energy coming from Sam's Men's Warehouse tuxedo perhaps tilted the scales?
That's
I
not what
at
I thought
home
he was
found
gonna ask.
myself.
It distracts me continuously.
I thought he was going to ask,
which
is
I
it
think
possible
maybe might have been detrimental
that
to the overall performance.
Molly
That's,
comes
their
back?
estimation.
Yeah.
I blame Sam personally.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
yeah,
That wasn't
it
what I
was
thought.
to bring it back around to your question. Yes, it was progressively more and more nerve-wracking because I care for these characters and I care for these people, but I also had an intent with this, encounter where they didn't do anything with it like they were, which was to show really what they're up against, and the way the dice rolled was not in their favor.
No.
Like with
That was
with the right.
Some bad dice
With the
rolling
right
all
plotting
around.
and the right rolls and the right setup, there could have been like a confrontation to a parlay. There could have there were a lot of different ways it could have gone, as is the nature of the game, and it was just they did not go well.
Yeah.
And
Instead, Lorenzo ends up looking like
Well,
the
not as bad as it could.
craziest
No,
badass.
if Keg hadn't stepped up and used that relationship with the Iron Shepherds and specifically with Lorenzo to try and halt the battle, they could have got worse. They could have wound up with other members being robbed or being bound and dragged along.
Yeah.
It's good to know that was.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It's good to know that was helpful.
Because when I
That
was doing it, I was
was
like, this is so fucking cool.
clutch at the
This
end
is not
there.
going to have any impact.
But Lorenzo's a specific character. There's a vanity to him, and there is a
I'm just honestly
an element
surprised,
of-
even though she did
he
what she
enjoys
did,
the power and wielding it over other
that
people. and he knows
Lorenzo
fear
was
him,
willing
and
to
so you
do an
kind of
eye for an
you
eye
played
'cause
into
he
that,
lost
and that
to
was
a lady.
kind of really in that moment his flaw, and that saved a lot further hardship, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
So yeah, it was fun.
Just trying to make you feel better.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
It was
I'm
kind of
kidding.
working until just then. Strangely.
We're gonna get to a few of our fan questions, and the first one, obviously,
Oh,
comes
there's gonna
from
be
you or
fan art of the week.
our beloved Arsqueef.
Ours
Positioned
Oh, where's his
here
picture? Yeah.
behind the dice jail walls.
Where is it? Behind the dice jail walls.
Matt and Ashley,
It used
how
to be
did you guys
behind him over
determine
there.
the information Keg had on the Iron Shepherds? How did you determine what she was gonna know? And
I determined that. I mean,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
he gave me selective information, as I
Yes.
learned on the day, because I did not know.
But wouldn't she
that
know
Lorenzo could do that.
Lorenzo
No, and
could take?
because it was the
Well, she
idea
did
of
say he's
your
a
interaction
really
with them,
tough
you weren't
dude.
super tight with the group necessarily.
I mean, I guess.
And there are certain
it is
secrets
what
that
it
some
is.
characters keep close to their chest for when they need that trump card. And certain elements of that may play out in the next episode or not, of Keg's knowledge and things. But yeah, that there were different facets that Keg just either hadn't seen before or didn't understand.
She's not very.
She's not the brightest
Firefight
dwarf in the
jar.
shed.
Yeah. Dwarf in the shed?
Yeah.
In your dwarf shed, as you keep.
Where you keep your
Brightest
door.
Well, I thought I was the only one who had one, apparently.
But yeah, so it was a combination of what information she could glean from the experiences she's had with them versus what they themselves may have been able to get across. Mistaking the bard for a sorcerer because just a magic, assume they're a sorcerer of some kind, and then Lorenzo just having things close to his chest that he only uses selectively when he really needs to, either to make a point or to defend himself.
Yeah.
Oiled leather wrapped chest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very slick, oily.
Yeah, I forgot he was oily at the
It
end.
was oily at the end.
Yeah.
What's that, Danny?
What he would have wanted.
That's what he would have wanted.
Molly would've wanted.
Yep. Ashley,
Yes.
Aaron Michaela asks, how did Keg feel after being charmed by Caleb? What made her follow them into a very uphill battle after that?
I think Keg knew. Keg didn't know how bad that would be, but she'd worked with the Iron Shepherds for long enough to know that these were some very dangerous people. And
She
I think,
didn't
Matt and I
freak
talked
out
about
like
that there was
most did.
probably a lot of this plan of hers that was done while she was in a drunken stupor, thinking that she was powerful enough to handle this.
Yeah.
But I think that Keg kind of knew the closer that she got, like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this on my own. And so, it's sort of like the twist of fate's had it that these people that had the same goal sort of showed up. So I think, Keg is sort of she has a facade of being sort of cocksure and proud,
Apologies.
but I think, she's also a
I just
coward.
got like
Yeah.
a
And she
yawn
knew
and
that,
I
like,
thought I was gonna sneeze.
me versus the entire Iron Shepherds is going to end with me dead. So it didn't really. I think she put up a little bit of a front, but it didn't take that much convincing.
Yeah.
Really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
To join.
Wow.
Because even with Molly messing with her head, she's like, necessary evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taliesin, speaking of the
Brian,
blood
every
maledict,
time
Yeah.
I look at his face,
this
he
question
looks
is
like
from-
he is
I'll take
very misty-eyed. Everyone actually does, but Brian
Calm
noticeably
thyself with
looks
the bear while you answer this
upset.
question. This is from Alec Tier or whatever. It's basically a rite of passage now if I fuck up your name on this show. Was that last blood maledict a desperation play, knowing by that point that if Lorenzo hit you at all, it would be fatal?
Yes, that was my plan. For what it was worth, was to, since I was kind of locked in, I was going to try and just give him disadvantage on his. I assumed he would have 2 strikes against me. Get disadvantage on those 2 strikes. Hopefully dodge them, and then once he was engaged with bow, get the fuck away.
Yeah.
Which was like, I don't really know, and like it was a slightly better than, it was a 50-50 chance. It was like,
Yeah.
I've been rolling like shit. What's the chances? And then nope, that was the roll. That
But,
was,
like,
that was
why-
the D6 that killed it. And I was like, that's.
I understand. He's thinking,
Only have the
how
golden
many
snake,
times
so-
can I roll bad?
Well,
But he literally did a
Oh, yeah, you're right,
50-50
it's a
on the
D6.
life of
Did
a
you roll the golden
character that
snake
he's
for
been
the
playing
bad guys?
for half a
for this
year.
one, yes.
That was the 6-month point.
Yeah, I take that. I take personal
After
offense
this
at that.
campaign, let's not give him the most powerful dice on the West Coast.
He's going to mysteriously lose it any day now.
Okay, good.
It's going to happen.
Matt, Cass0707 asks,
Me
did
and Matt just did the
Lorenzo
same
feel
order
in
at the same
danger at
time.
any point during that fight?
Yeah, he's basically saying, I thought like that's like saying I had friends that would go play in Atlantic City and they go,
Tell you.
You don't
if there's
have to. You
ever
absolutely
over
have to.
8
You can
blacks
say
or
it.
8 reds, I
I'd
always bet
say
on it. It's the
from-
same odds.
From what you saw, I mean, he took some hits and burned a bit, but he put up a front of confidence that either you believe or not is up to you, but he did not seem to feel
Earlier,
Wow.
I was gonna say when Matt said it could have been an even draw. I'm thinking
After being burned
how
alive.
Lorenzo was
little
insane,
Yeah.
but it could
Did
just be a
react to
front.
getting
I
hot,
like how he
sexy
said
oil
that because I
poured all
thought
over
about
him.
that.
Well,
Seemed to
yeah.
like it.
You could say.
I was kind of waiting for it.
You could say he felt very comfortable, just covered in oil.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, something
Just
that villain
covered in
shares with
oil.
Taliesin.
That is fair. I'm covered in oil right now.
Let's give away some free shit, shall we?
Let's do
Gift
it.
of the
Our
week.
first giveaway tonight is
Gif
honoring
of
your
the
epic
week.
gift making skills. It's time for GIF of the week.
Oh no.
Let's have a cheers to Gift of the week.
Our winner for episode 26 of Campaign 2 was sent in by Claudia Z on Reddit at Random Answers for Random Questions. Let's take a look.
Guys, get me a Grog's Ale, little. Oh my God! I was like, what is happening?
Helicopter Sky
She made a
Cam,
local news
report
gang war
of
in
the
progress. I love
Gang
it.
war, slaughter in progress, Glory Run Road.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I dig
Amazing.
it.
Estimate the
The ticker at the
coldest
bottom.
winter in the past.
wow.
Oh my God.
That's pretty
Incredible.
That's
magical.
good. Congrats to you, Claudia Z. You have won this brand new softest shirt alive, not the best detective agency.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
This is nice.
Tiny flash.
I might buy that
Oh,
shirt
man,
after the show's
Taliesin
over.
has cried into this shirt.
I have
increasing
not
its
seen
value
that one
by
yet.
Millions and millions of pesos. All right.
Millions
Remember,
and millions of pages.
you can
I honestly have never seen that
submit.
one. I thought I saw most of the designs, but I have not seen that one.
we got there, Chief.
We haven't
Your
also
gift
seen
that
the Danny
submit-
Cam yet.
At
Submit,
talksmachina.com.
submit.
Moving on.
Where's the Danny
Taliesin.
Cam, Ben?
Debana Knight wants to know what was going through your mind when Matt
Debana
asked
Knight.
for your final words. Was it hard to come up with Molly's response?
Da
or was it
banana
Oh,
night.
no, Molly's response
It's
was
da
easy.
banana night.
Molly's
Da
not
banana
complicated in
night.
that
It's
direction.
da
and
banana
his feelings
night.
on death and violence are pretty easy. I was kind of in a fugue state for most of that. I was like, well, I'm either going to wake up or I'm not. This is really fascinating. It didn't fully hit me till hours later. So
I feel like I know the answer to this question, but I want to hear it from you. Was
Yeah.
Molly afraid of death? Ever,
I am
or
waiting for the
maybe post
question
the other
that
stuff
I
that
have.
happened to him, but pre
Is it
this moment?
possible, based on the fact that Molly rose from the dead?
I'm trying to articulate it
I don't know.
correctly,
I know
but it
you
was
guys
very
told me
much
stop asking.
everything felt like it felt borrowed at this point. And
You mean time?
yeah, he was not somebody who felt a lot of ownership he was aware that so much could go wrong in any moment that he just didn't really lean into it that
I mean,
hard, and
honestly,
so
the way he went out was fitting of the character.
it was very much I woke up, that's great, that's still working. Whatever it was that's
He
been
said,
working for
"I
this
just
long is
wing
still
it,
working.
and I go with the
Holy
flow,"
cow, we're
and
gonna
I
go
guess-
forward with it. So it was never, he was definitely not,
Afraid.
no, he was aware it was going to come eventually and was probably going to come earlier rather than later.
Yeah.
So it was not, it was definitely a,
Did he think it
Brian
would happen
has
coming from a
also
guy doing the
never
worst
been more
Ford impression
serious.
you've ever heard?
He's dressed
nobody
very
can be
nice,
prepared for,
less jokey, less
I mean,
inappropriateness
and
going on.
As
Still laughing,
ways to
still
go
joking.
existed, I think that was a
More
very Molly
proper.
way to go. Of just
Yeah.
bitchy and defiant to the bitter end.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved that moment,
Yeah.
especially, without any time to really prepare. You knew that character so well.
Oh yeah, he was in for the ride.
Yeah. Matt and Taliesin, Trevani asks, there's some belief
Well,
during the first
Trevani.
campaign that Vox Machina were basically gods and
I
couldn't
think it's
die. Do you think that
Trivania.
Molly Mock's death is important as a reminder that mortality should be present in games and helps the narrative overall?
Curious if your answer is going to be my answer, but go ahead.
I mean, I think it is important, depending on the type of story you're trying to tell. For me, it's hard to have high stakes in a game like Dungeons and Dragons if the threat isn't there. It's not necessary. There are many games you could play, or many ways you can run D&D in which, the primary focus is everyone's fun, and if anyone you feel is going to not have fun if their character dies, then don't necessarily do that. We know each other well enough and we trust each other and understand that there can be new, fresh joy out of a new story and a new character, and sometimes the death of a character can be a very impactful and wonderful thing for a narrative moving forward that, we don't see it that way. And so they trust me and I trust them enough to know that death is something that can be prevalent in the campaign. It can be a threat, and if it does happen, everyone takes it, feels it, grieves, moves on, and carries that moment as a new baton for whatever the next part of the story has. So I think it's important for our story. I think it's
Brian's like, whoa,
I mean,
yes.
I don't want to say like it's a nice reminder, but I think it's an important reminder that there are consequences to scenarios. There are terrible people that will do terrible things, and ultimately their heroic journey is to try and stop these people from doing what they're doing. And there will be things lost, and there will be things gained, and you know, all the elements of the hero's journey are a part of that. So it's not necessary for every game, by all means, but
No, and I'd even go so far as fiction in general. It's one of those things that, unless the story is necessarily about death, it's not necessarily something that pops up very often. And there are plenty of stories where if you get to the end of the book, that character is basically immortal at that point, despite the fact that if you kept following the inevitable crush of death, I mean, you know, you have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs live happily ever after, but at some point it ends as all things end. And this is, I sometimes feel like fiction kind of can give us a pass on that. We're like, oh no, they're fine. But I mean, they're only fine because they're not real. Like it's kind of a way of cheating death in a weird way, of this being in this little fictional vacuum. And we don't really have that, though.
Yeah.
Not for our game.
And death hurts.
Oh.
Death is awful, but death is also very important. And I think, in a weird way, as is a lot of D&D and role-playing games are, there is catharsis and there is therapy kind of that comes from us grieving and dealing with even a fictional character in a fictional world's death.
I was told, I remembered, I was told to skip right there and go to 33. There we go. I was told to do this.
Yeah, how big of a goth boner do you have right now?
I was told, that's why I got afraid for a second, because I saw Vox Machina and I'm like, oh shit, did I miss it?
But I think it's important.
I was told by the dude
in a weird,
JB
macabre way, I'm
to cut it
excited
right
to
there.
see where the story
There's
goes.
one more stoppage I gotta do. Hopefully I remember
Oh yeah,
that
I
one.
mean, like I was panicked because I'm like, I don't have a good idea, but now I'm
You have a good idea now.
Coco's being very
You have a
cute.
really good idea now.
pretty happy with
We're
it.
just gonna roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Ashley,
Yes.
Neuro Squared asks, how did you feel when Lorenzo's group showed abilities you didn't expect them to have?
At first, I was really afraid that I had just forgotten something that Matt had told me.
Yeah, we're like,
I was like,
checking the notes
yeah, like,
furiously.
wait, I didn't, wait, he's a fighter. I thought he was a fighter. And then I felt very justified and good about the RP that I had done. Because I always thought that she was scared of them, and then seeing how they were. I mean, even if she had been brazen at that point, and then the big guns had gotten pulled out, that would have been another opportunity to be like, oh wow, I'm even more fucked than I thought. But
Wow, yeah.
yeah, it was terrifying. But I also sort of assumed that there would be. I did not think in a million years that. Especially like Laura and Travis aren't here. I kind of felt like the babysitter that like dropped the baby a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Sorry about that.
I'm like, there's no way it's gonna
Coco's
happen. You know.
getting-
That was me the first time I met Travis and Laura's baby. No, I'm kidding. No, that's a good point.
Brian.
Do you feel like you got to answer that enough before my stupid joke?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
good. Just making sure. I have to check now.
Sitting on the same side of the table with you, so I felt the chill from like over there, of like, oh no, she didn't know. She didn't know any of this. We're so screwed.
I did feel nervous the entire time, though,
See,
which I thought was pretty cool.
I mean,
which is
hey,
a
at
testament
least
to
they
how well,
explained it, but I just
Matt
assumed
kind
she
of,
would have known more.
helped prepare me. That like even not knowing going in what their abilities were going to be, the entire time was like, I don't think we should be doing this. I don't think we should be doing. Like I was so nervous.
Yeah, I haven't screamed that much at my TV since the Drop Dead Diva finale.
That's rough.
Taliesin.
Yeah.
I've seen Drop Dead Diva.
Pretend I didn't say what I just did with an answer to this
35,
question.
35,
From
50.
Tommy Dybel. What were Molly's final thoughts?
Coco bit me
Oh
like
God.
because I made her jump.
I need the bear again.
Yeah.
What were Molly's
I
final
mean-
thoughts? Let's do this. Tommy DeBell.
I mean, they were easy and simple and base, which was, and I've been having
Cheers.
a lot of thought about these words even before the death. Is that it's the immense and sort of reasonable and wonderfully sustaining emotion of, well, fuck you too.
Yeah.
So it was his last thought was, fuck you too,
Yeah.
which was just the righteous, more reasonable cousin to fuck you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, fuck you too. Yeah. And yeah,
Man.
no fear, no panic.
Yeah.
He looks
Just,
very
goddamn it.
uneasy and uncomfortable,
Matt,
and he's shaking. I think
Technicolor
you guys
Tech
told me
wants to
that has
know,
something to
were the
do
Iron Shepherds always
with,
intended to be
like
antagonists for the
an
party
illness
down the
he has
line,
or something.
Or were they
I
something
can never
new you
tell.
came
I
up
don't
with
mean to
in the
be like
circumstances
mean
of having Ford
or
Jester leave earlier?
point it out, but I
They
feel
were
like a lot
part
of people
the
I know that get
world building
nervous
in
do that just from nerves.
Northern region.
So I
where
don't
they were
know.
headed. They were intended to eventually maybe cross paths or be an element of the world up there once they got there. With having to plan for Laura and Travis leaving, I had to weave. This was my way of weaving them into the story sooner to find a way to take them out of the game for a while, but also make it, hopefully
So now it's
interesting
even
for the players
more
and interesting for the story.
epic.
So I want.
Look
I
at it
wasn't
this
intending
way:
it to
the Iron
for them to
Shepherds
become
just killed
such
our
a,
friend. Now it's going to be like
an
a
immediate
revenge
and
thing.
intense antagonistic force. But part of being a game master, dungeon master, is adaptation.
Yeah.
You can only plan so much. You just kind of have to keep it loose and see what happens, what the players do, who can be available and where it's going, and then just kind of plug things in where it makes sense so that it feels natural and you're still somewhat prepared while flying by the seat of your pants. And so with Laura and Travis leaving and then Ashley having to go back, it was very much well, you know what, this would be an interesting way to handle the scenario and raise the stakes and bring in a cool group of antagonists that I hadn't planned to yet. And sure, let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
System eventually.
It's like everyone's gonna blame Matt
I
now.
welcome it. I
Sorry,
will
he
take
wanted
all
to
the yelling.
entertain us.
Oh,
That's why
Taking
he
it for
feels
almost a week
bad.
now.
He's thinking
that's
I
true.
was trying to
All of us.
entertain you
I hate
people.
it on the internet.
no,
And
you
instead,
shouldn't.
we got Molly coming in, guns
I've
blazing,
hopped
doing
on to,
blood
like, tweet
maledict
three
on this
things,
guy,
and then, like,
risking
there's
life
people
and
out
limb.
there
He
just
admittedly sells
probably
50-50 and he
tweeting
went
such
for it.
endearing and wonderful
Who
memories
does
of
that?
art, and you'll get to it
Imagine-
eventually, but you have to
I
have
mean,
more
that
time
is
to get
Molly's
across
way.
things and-
Totally
yeah.
not the mood.
But imagine someone told
you
you,
have to be in the mood for that.
you got a
get that.
50-50
Yeah.
chance of living. But,
Danny,
you
how
know,
you
the
holding
dice
up?
have been rolling bad, so you're bound to get
the
good
final
rolls.
thoughts were almost my breaking point right then. That was pretty terrible.
Poor Danny had a hard Thursday night.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Buddy.
Want to ask anybody?
Yeah, I have a question. I have a question for Ashley.
Danny, it's actually
Kat came
Danny.
across as very self-preservational, yet she chose to sacrifice herself to save the remaining Mighty Nine. Can you talk more about that decision for somebody who came across so like, I'm gonna take care of myself, I have to get this revenge, and then to walk forward and be like, no, take me instead.
One thing that Matt and I
She
talked
probably
about,
felt, I mean, hey, that's a good question.
specifically when it came to Lorenzo, because there was the question of like, are they going to shoot me on sight, basically, if we come across each other, and I remembered
came
Matt
up.
saying specifically that Lorenzo is the type of dude that likes to make examples of people, and so I think Keg would know that she'd probably have some fear of dying if she went too far, but if she were to prostrate herself, then it would be unlikely that he might like maim her or do something gnarly, but not necessarily kill her. So, and in a way, it was also a form of self-preservation. But I also think, we'll get into it next week.
Yeah.
Interesting. Have we talked about how long she's going to be joining us for?
Oh yeah.
No, I guess we could do that now.
Yeah.
Because there have been questions
Oh,
about
are
it.
we?
Yeah, Ashley will be joining us for the next 2 sessions, and then we'll be jumping on to be with us at Gen Con for the live show.
Really?
Very excited about.
So she's around for a
we
good
get, we get Keg
month.
for 3 more sessions, hopefully. So.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Okay,
3
cool.
more.
Ooh, a Tox Machina exclusive,
So a
Matt.
full month.
Hey, look at that.
I believe you guys did
tell
tell
us
me that in the live stream. But I wasn't sure if it was
What the cow
actually
happy
like a
wants to
legit
know.
month or like 3 weeks. People said, yeah, she's around for about a month.
Wow.
So that could be 4 episodes, which
Molly
it sounds
seems like the perfect candidate for Matt's lingering
Lick.
soul class. Considering your history of using Matt's homebrew classes, will you consider taking it if offered?
I can actually. I don't normally like giving unequivocal. No.
Yeah.
I really like Matt's lingering soul class. I think that the idea of putting somebody who's such a sensualist like Molly in that state would be the most, I mean, like, literally that would be just
This is
bringing the
so-
character back to make them so
Like, every now and
unhappy.
then I
It's
just dip
so
back to the
awful.
fact that
like, it would be,
Molly's
there's
dead,
no
and that
version
tie
of
is
Molly that comes
friggin'
back as a
awesome.
ghost that isn't just
I just noticed.
desperately wanting it to be over. It's just,
Yeah.
it's the worst thing to do to somebody who's literally their entire life is about tactile experience, is be like,
Yeah.
welcome back, everything you love is gone. I'm like,
Yeah.
no. No.
Yeah, the Lingering Soul class I developed.
It's not angry at anybody.
Yeah, well, the Lingering Soul class, I mean, it's hopefully it's fun for those who've tried it out.
I love it.
I'm really proud of it.
I love it.
But
I am a
it's more
huge
designed
fan
for
of the
me
Lingering
narratively,
Soul
at least how I want to
class.
run it.
I don't know if it is. I'm assuming
the
it's
person's soul
souls that
lingers
linger.
because their sheer force of will at the moment of death will not let them pass on. There is something unresolved, whether it be vengeance, whether it be somebody they have to protect or get to a point, or something that needs to be destroyed, or something that is such a powerful focus for their reason to live that when they die, they won't accept it.
Which is literally the opposite
of Molly. Exactly.
It's literally the opposite.
So I had it ready, in case a circumstance allowed itself in the story where a party member got to that point. And
I
it made
dig it.
sense.
It's basically
And as soon
like
as Molly fell, and I thought about it after this
life
session, I'm
after
like,
death movies and shows you say,
Molly.
Especially,
where like
even from our
there's a
earliest
spirit
conversations,
haunting
some
and
of the
it's
very
just
nature of,
like a
what
loved
I
one
designed
that
Molly to be.
won't
Yeah,
move
I
on
can't
because it
necessarily, I
needs
don't
to
want to talk
tell
about
you
just because I don't want to mess up
there's
anything you
gold
have
bricks up in
planned.
your
Don't talk about that.
I won't talk about that,
Because
but like,
even if a character is gone, it doesn't mean their story is resolved.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's true.
But from a fundamental build of Molly, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, I didn't know.
How do you feel Taliesin did with the Blood Hunter class?
I think he did great.
I think he did horrible.
You
I don't mean to be rude,
I was a little nervous,
but I think he did
I'm very
bad
proud of my
considering he
record
ran
now.
in
It
guns
was
blazing
21.
and died.
21 confirmed kills. Feeling pretty good about that.
I mean,
it's a class that
everyone's
takes some
entitled
balls,
to a
'cause
mistake.
you have a lot of your stuff.
But that was a
is
big-ass
based
mistake.
on self-injury.
The fact
But if
that
built right
Brian
played
and
right,
other
you can
people
do
have
some
openly
serious
said,
damage, have some interesting utility.
what is he doing?
some
Like,
fun,
I
you know,
even
narrative
thought, like,
threads
I'm
that
watching
the
and I'm
class
like,
has built in.
is he gonna?
And,
But
I think Molly was a great.
I didn't get as
different take on
worried
the
because I
class than a
thought
lot.
the
A lot of people tend to go
rounds-
very like
I didn't realize it was
grim,
like
dark,
that
almost Witcher,
serious.
as like, I'm trying to destroy all the evil in the world, and like, the kind of a less cool Blade, if you will. So I thought Molly was such a very unique and interesting example of showing that you can.
If you
play
guys notice me
all
looking at
sorts
my
of
phone, it's just
personalities
because
and
I'm
archetypes
making
in this
sure
class.
I stop. There's
and
Vox
still
Machina
come with the flavor and
spoilers,
have
I'm
fun.
told.
I love
So I'm
having that kind
making
of
sure I
character too, where like I take a class.
am
I
aware.
love taking a class that's really meant to be one thing and being like, why can't we do it this way instead? This is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'll be having that again soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sooner than you think. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well-
I'm a little sad that we didn't get into some of the later abilities from Blood Hunter.
I was
but,
really excited by quite a few.
Yeah, I was really interested to see some because I went and reread it that night because I was
Yeah.
looking to see the rules for the blood.
It's like
nowadays.
Molly
It's a-
saved
it's a slow burn.
all the
Yeah, it is a
storytelling
slow
for
burn, but it
later.
can get pretty
Molly, we
epic,
knew the
yeah.
least
Level
about,
levels
had the
actually for
least
that build with the-
backstory, and then he
Order of the
dies.
Ghost Slayer gets pretty crazy, and with it, especially with the recent tweaks we had done, like it would have been a point where you were doing 4.
I didn't
attacks
even
in a
get
single
my
round.
Kiri shirt yet.
And-
Kiri's already
and
gone.
Traveling.
I
through
love my
terrain
Molly
and
shirt.
creatures
It's
like
not.
a
I
spirit
mean,
world.
Wow.
Yeah, you
Some
can start to
stuff at a
phase.
higher level.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I know. I'm basing
Man.
deaths
Nevertheless.
and
Nevertheless.
stuff off
Yeah.
shirts.
Other people can put monologue in their games. You can do all sorts of
Exactly.
Yeah.
Please,
I know
please
people
do that.
will.
You have my permission.
Especially
please.
when they get their
People will.
Kickstarter minis.
I
That's
guarantee
true.
you, and you
Yeah.
definitely
Anyone
established
playing
the
any
thing.
Wild
Like,
Mount campaigns are planning to go
I'm
there,
assuming
by all
at
means,
this
continue that
point,
thread.
Hero Forge and all them
As you see
didn't
fit,
have it.
Yeah.
That's
A
part of our big
Molly-looking
thing with
tiefling
playing this game and releasing the
model.
last campaign guide and helping present this information to the community is, it's, as much as it's our game, we also want it to be a gift and an invitation for everybody else to come and play in that space. And,
Yeah.
invite you guys to take elements of the story and run with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Let's do it, guys.
We have a few more questions, but first,
Oh,
let's
I-
give away some wood.
I literally. Let's give away some
Okay.
wood. He had to bring some
Our
like
next giveaway
some
is for you
hardwood,
fans
some
that create and
hardwood.
send in incredible art from moments during the show. It's time for fan
It's
art
almost
of
like
the
he had to break it up a little. Fan art of the week. Fan art of the week.
Oh, look at
You
our
like that?
I love it.
Our new
Sweater Dad.
gift of the week and fan art of the week. What are those called? Bumpers. Were done by our friend and yours, Wendy Doodles. Yes, and animated by our beloved Arsqueef.
Really?
So thank you both of you for doing that. We love them. So Wendy's done our intro video, our new intro video, and both of those. So we love you, Wendy. Slap Ryan on the butt for me. This week's fan art winner was sent in by Emmy Linders, aka Matt, help me. I can't read
Just
that
to the
far.
nines.
Just to the nines.
Oh,
Let's
this is
take a
gonna
look.
hurt, isn't it? It's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's beautiful.
Oh. That's some Thanos shit right there. God damn.
Yeah, it kind of gave me that vibe today when I saw it.
Oh, Taliesin, there's some art.
I'm
There's
aware.
some
There
art
is
there
some
when you're
art.
ready.
I'm gonna
That's
open up
pretty
Twitter.
cool.
It's just gonna hurt.
We're compiling a lot of it for you to look at.
Oh man. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
that stuff. Well,
Good stuff.
thanks to everyone who submitted. Congrats to you, Emmy. You have won this Cherry Dice Tower with cartography by our favorite, Devin Rue. This is insane.
That is pretty freaking awesome.
Chief, give me some love on this thing. This is the detail. It's hard to really see. The detail
Cartography.
is
That's like a
absolutely incredible
map.
on this.
Oh,
A
we're-
cartographer, a
there
map
we go.
maker.
It's
at that.
literally engraved into the wood.
There it is.
Tells
You're
it.
helping. Good job, buddy.
I'm here to help.
We're
Congrats.
trying.
You have won
to
my wood.
admire
Thanks
the
to our
wormwood.
friends at Wormwood
Is
Gaming.
that something
Make sure
they
to check
do,
them
or is
out
that
at
like a limited thing?
wormwoodgaming.com. They're
That's what I'm
currently
having
not
it-
for sale yet.
Dog
but
might do.
keep your eyes and ears
Taking a
open.
while.
You can enter our
taking a
weekly
while.
contest by emailing your GIF or fan art to submit at talksmachina.com.
Submit.
Rules for our contest are available at critroll.com. Moving
feel
on,
like-
Matthew.
Yeah. So boy.
Xena Rose
2 minutes,
11
I gotta
asks,
take a-
If
I gotta
Molly hadn't run into Lorenzo, do you
avoid
think Bo would have been made his example instead?
That could have been very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally his. I mean, I don't know how low Bo was in hit points at the time.
Bo wasn't
But at the
bad,
very
but
least,
a lot of the others
Probably had
were
a good chance of probably
low.
knocking her unconscious. She also was hit by the cone of cold.
20 points during that cone of cold, right?
Yeah,
Something
well,
like
that was with the successful.
Bo
save. For the
wasn't
failed
as
save, it was
bad
a lot
as
more.
most. I
Yeah.
feel like 2 or 3 others were
And I've
like
seen,
within
and I've seen
death
people
range.
going like, it's unfair. In order to cast that spell, he has to be like 14th level, like fighter, wizard. I'm like, no, you don't know all the stuff behind the scenes. There's a reason
Yeah.
he has it. You're fine. I like that you're excited, but we're fine.
Yeah.
But it was seeing
Matt's
her
like, how
like up on
dare
the
you
horse,
question my
defensive, more ready to go, and the fact that Molly had
DMing.
just come by with like this huge hit and was on his last legs visually between the two, and was basically just an easier target. And it was more of like if I'm going to choose between the two, I'm going to go with him because he's right there. And
Why did I misjudge that fight?
I know
That's
it
okay.
happens.
It happens.
This is the second character of yours that I've killed in all the time we've played.
Yeah.
Oh, was there a home
Aldous
game?
from the old?
Oh, it's not that. Okay.
Shout out all this
I was
stuff,
like, is
right?
that the spoiler?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he
That
was eaten
scared
by,
me.
By, ghouls. So that was more
I got,
gruesome,
like,
I think.
My
Yeah,
goodness.
Another
Yeah, I
minute.
thought you weren't eaten by anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
He had it coming. That was.
You know what we're gonna do? Just so I don't
fighting.
screw it up,
another
we're just gonna
teenage
skip it
asshole
now
tell us.
because what could I
Aldous
possibly miss?
He was kind of a mad monk.
We're
for a
gonna
while
go.
And was like, well, God, okay, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
no
ignore
better
the game
port in
for a
the
while.
storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we literally sat there like I cried really hard in your arms. I think you mostly were comforting me.
I was comforting you mostly. I didn't really cry hard until I got home.
Yeah, it was a lot of like cuddling on the couch.
I had to
and
skip
just-
there because I'm told there are
everyone else
Vox
is crying.
Machina spoilers,
Right?
so we
I
can
was
ride
hoping.
that out
You were
the rest of
very
the
helpful.
episode.
When you,
Just never let the fucker see you cry. No, like
yeah.
Mosquito
fuck
bites.
see.
I had a
Yeah.
job in like a
all the fuckers see me
swampy
cry.
area.
Yeah.
Mosquito bites all over.
That's true. When you got up, you said something like, "I don't want to see this, or I don't want to watch this."
I can't
Was that
watch this.
because you thought more people were about to die behind you?
No, I was just like I was having a panic attack and was like, I'm out. Oh
Yeah.
God, I need to go away from this and like. I don't even
That's
wanna
what
know
I
happens
figured.
next.
I thought he was
Yeah.
doing
I
it
don't
as a
wanna watch
joke.
everyone panic.
Oh man. I
Oh,
know.
don't make him more emotional. I almost feel like when people do
Burial
that, it
ground.
makes you
Yeah,
more
you
worked
just
out.
pass that bear around.
Like if I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my shit. The
That's
last thing
it.
I want is for 5 people to
Ashley,
go, oh,
Burial
don't
Grounds
worry, we
asks,
love you.
What went through
Then
your
I'm
head
really
when
gonna lose
Lorenzo
my
made
shit.
Keg bend her
I know
knee?
they're
Did
doing
you
it because they
expect him to
care.
spare her.
I was nervous. I thought I was at least going to get like a limb, something. I thought I was going to get something.
That's what
lopped
I
off
thought.
Yeah.
At minimum.
Yeah.
So I was.
I
pretty
thought we were gonna
surprised,
get a limb knocked
when,
off.
when he just let us go.
I thought
I
for
was
sure
preparing
he was
for
because he
something.
said
A beard shaving.
Yeah.
Just thinking.
he
Which
said
would have been the
something to the
unkindest
effect
thing he
of
could
like,
have
Yeah, that
Keg's
would
been
have
trying
He's got-
to
you
grow
gotta
that for
give an
Yeah.
example,
That's part of
and I thought he
backstory.
meant
Just
more than
go.
Molly.
pushing it out. That's
Yeah.
what I do to mine.
Part revenge, part anger, and then part beard growing, and then part anger, and then part beard growing.
Yeah.
That's her, yeah.
That's the pie graph.
Yeah.
Somebody had asked if Molly was in the Soul Stone, which I thought was great.
Molly is definitely the soul stone.
Yeah. Taliesin Criven-Spiegel asks, given Molly's apparent laissez-faire attitude towards life, would he have considered his death at the hands of Lorenzo worth it?
As long as Bo got away, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you help people out. That's what you fucking do. Don't be a dick. So yeah. I'm so sorry I'm breaking you. I'm so sorry.
That answer's hard.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
I don't think that's whatever. I'll go with it.
For no other reason, that means
I
that,
feel like
forever he won, which is great.
I'm not putting in my 2 cents.
She's kind of awful, and now he's like, he has an eternal one-up now, which is also kind of
That is very Molly. It is really.
I'm gonna say it once, and I know people are gonna get mad at me probably.
and like get the last word.
But I don't
before
think that had
die. I've got,
anything
like,
to do with it
27
at
ready
the
to go.
time. I don't think Molly at the time thought anything about anybody else in that party. They could have regrouped and changed the plan.
Matt,
Him running in, guns
Trisha
blazing,
Chick
and
asks, I was
doing
really
what he did
fearing
and
no
causing
mercy
his
from
death
Lorenzo.
had
How did you
nothing to
decide
do with,
have him
well,
spare the rest of the
at
party?
least Bo's
Did he
alive.
fail against Keg's persuasion, or were
bearing.
there other factors you included in your
And
decision?
I'll leave it at that.
The persuasion rung through. He failed against that idea because she knew where to cut through. Knew that all these faceless people to him made no difference. But because they were traveling
My God,
with
that was
Keg
a
and Keg,
creepy smile that
his whole
Matt
thing here
just
was
made.
They were all gnats. Keg was the one that he knew and the one that he essentially was trying to break. You know, the whole like, oh, is this important to you? You know, it was that kind of a power play.
I get
And
you.
so,
I felt that.
It was going to
I
continue.
felt
It was
that.
just going to keep, whether it be killing them or capturing them or breaking them. It was just going to be like a knock over each domino until she breaks. And so the minute that she gave in and essentially put up the white flag, he was like, okay. And then at that point was, as is his nature, is, you know, set an example, leave an example, and spread the word.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with me. People
Yeah.
don't fuck with me because this happens.
Wow.
And he has a reputation.
Yeah. Ashley, Fox881 asks, were you expecting the Mighty Nine to discover you were once a part of these slavers groups so quickly?
I was, well,
Probably.
after it happened, I was like, yeah, I guess that's the most logical conclusion for me to have this much information about them. But
And also, like,
I was expecting it to maybe
what
keep going
good
until
would you be if they
Shady
didn't
Creek.
figure out your story pretty quick?
But I
Because you're
didn't
only
know
around
that
for a
Liam
month.
would- that spell.
Yeah.
Which was great. It was
Yeah.
awesome. But I thought it wouldn't come up until maybe next game. But
Yeah.
but I think I kind of like that. You know, like
Yeah.
the best laid plans. You know what I mean? You
Yep.
just have to throw it out the window.
That's how it works.
That's kind of that's one of the wonderful things about this game
Yeah.
is you're like, I have a good thought out idea of how things will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm so glad that Sam was like willing to say out loud, this is the best plan we've ever had. Just so I can just, next time I see him, be like, yeah, how'd that work out, man?
Yeah.
You know, all
Well-
those times we're like, trust us, we're just gonna wing it, it'll be okay.
The
Yeah.
best
I'm not gonna
plan
lie, it was
wasn't
a
you
good plan.
running
Like,
in,
I was really proud of
guns
you guys planning and
blazing.
running on that. It was a
That's
good
why I
thing.
think funny.
It was
It's funny.
A series of bad dice
You
rolls,
can't
couple of
have a
bad
perfect
strategic
plan and then
choices,
have someone
and
do
a
something
foe that
radical
was
and then be
just
like, your plan didn't work.
a little bit beyond you with all those circumstances combined. And
Like,
so, like,
even like
I mean,
so
to
many
Sam's
things
credit, he was
during
right.
that
It was a good
event
plan.
was
Plans
just
don't
cockiness
matter.
on the part of the Mighty Nine.
You know, plan lasts.
It just happened that Molly died.
No plan lasts contact with the enemy.
Yeah.
Bo
Survives
almost
contact
died,
with the
not
enemy.
almost
something,
died.
Dan?
Caleb could have died.
There's also the fact that
So many people could have died.
Molly himself said, this is going to be a cursed trip. I am just going to go ahead and accept that. Terrible things will happen.
Oh, you said that.
He did say that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He knows. He knows.
Man.
I did.
The weird portions, the weird like looking back and going, oh, it's like we knew. Oh, this is weird.
We only have time for a couple more, so I'm gonna squeeze them in here. Oh, Danny Boy 94.
I think it's like
Taliesin,
about
what would
10
be Molly's
minutes
parting
left.
wisdom or advice for the members of the Mighty Nine?
Oh Lord.
Sammy's busted.
Boy, I haven't thought about this at all.
You can pass. I have another one for you.
Oh yeah, no, he doesn't. Yeah, his
Sammy's
advice would be
busted
terrible. No, just lighten up. Yeah, whatever.
Join
But
the circus.
join a fucking circus. Life's
Yeah.
short. Eat a bagel.
Yeah. Life short, eat a bagel.
Life
Something
short,
to a
eat a
bagel.
bagel. Sam's
yeah,
gonna try to jump
Life
up on the
short,
desk.
do something to a bagel. Now, I don't want to give away too much about my backstory, but I've lived by that adage for quite some time.
I knew this is where we would mix. I'm happy for another
Yeah.
one, but
Matt.
Yes.
God,
do I get the last?
W. Klein 9. No, you don't. If Yasha, Ford, and
Sammy.
Jester were in one of the cages, would it have been possible for any of them to have witnessed the death of our beloved Molly?
Sadly, no. The nature of the illusion that cloaks the interior of these prevents them from seeing out. They actually have a tarp over them. Like it's like
Yeah.
cages, and there's a large cloth tarp that's wrapped over them, so they have no visual
Yeah, we
perspective
didn't
of where
really
they
get
are.
like as good an
It's-
explanation
it's
as that.
part of keeping them docile and in check.
I mean, we still
while
got
they
time.
transport them.
And 3 of our people are in there that aren't even with us right now.
no. They have Santa Claus in the cage. It's just says too fat, and you're just like, no.
One, amazing reference. Two,
Yeah, if
I'm
you want.
sorry that I forced you to have any memory of that movie.
Oh my God.
Bad movie, good date. That's all I'll say. So, yeah.
I think I know that story.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah.
All right.
We can tell it on After Dark. Taliesin, it's only fair that we end the night with a question for you.
Yeah, bring it.
Spirit Chrysalis asks, the Critical Role fandom response to Molly's murder echoed how profoundly he's touched the hearts of many in a short time. From your perspective, what meaning and beauty do you see in Molly, and what
going
takeaways
to lighting.
stand out for you in remembering him?
Ooh. Okay. I get to Molly is no different in my head than he was last week, which is my deep. That is where I get to have an easier time than everybody else, which is that it's no different for me. I just don't get to trot him out on Thursday. The character was based off of, is like any good character is based off of like several friends, some of whom are not with us anymore, and several experiences as a teenager, and like places and people I've gotten to be, and things that profoundly had effects on me. We were talking about Wrist Cutters, a Love Story, being like, that was like one of the first. I've been listening to Molly's playlist, which I'm sure I have to put out now, which is now way harder to listen to because there's a lot in there.
Yeah,
but like there's
for
a song off the soundtrack of Wrist Cutters that was because that movie had a lot of that good
Wrist Cutters.
Carney
What
family
is
vibe
that?
and how
I don't even know what that
families work
movie
and
is, but
how
it sounds
sort of these
like a
weird bitchy
title.
people take care of each other. And there was
Suicide
for many years there was
oriented.
a archetype in film and archetype in storytelling that was very much this kind of character. And I haven't seen this character in anything in a long time. And I've like barely I've read like a couple things that people have read have written
Sammy is
where they've kind of
literally
gotten this notion
fighting me.
of you're supposed to live your life, and there's a way of both not giving a fuck about what people think, but giving a fuck about people. And he was never a character who needed to be fixed, and he was never a character who needed permission for anything. And I mean, you go in with a character like Iron Man where you're like waiting to watch them become a good person, or you go with a character like Captain America where it's, I want to see
Molly's
this
given
good
a
person's effect
sentimental
on the world. And
ending,
there was
and
never
Sammy's
going to
over
be
here
a
attacking.
profound change in Molly. His whole notion was just his perspective and
senses
how it affected
evil.
everything around him. It was, so he was, if there was anybody who had, he never had any unfinished business. His only unfinished business was just barreling through every person he ever met and making them deal with him.
Wow.
So yeah, make people deal with you, but make sure that dealing with you is always a positive and kind experience. So yeah, there you go. Hi. Hey.
Oh,
Quick, bring me my dice. I need to soak them in the tears of the DM.
they didn't show Matt, and the whole time Matt is bawling.
What was your favorite part?
I
about
didn't like. I mean, it was very nice speech
man.
and everything.
The terrible accent, the
accent?
no, I'll actually say it was being able to be like a teenage version of myself on graph paper. It was really nice. It was like, oh, I could be 22 again and just terrible, and it's great. The art was also spectacular, and every now and then running into somebody who really got what I was trying to do, and seeing that they identified with it.
Yeah.
So every now and then I would meet somebody who was like, I get what you're doing. This is amazing. I'm like, oh, thank you. So.
Cosplay's been incredible too.
Cosplay is incredible. I saw a lot of people.
Don't stop the cosplay.
a
I
lot
would
of
feel like
people asked
cosplay,
if your next character will
the
please be
tieflings
easier
would
to
be
cosplay.
the most interesting. Ford would be an easier one, but I feel like Ford
a different kind
is
of
like an
fabulous.
orc.
Yeah.
So like an orc warrior. They're more like unique in my mind. The blue, like they meaning Jester too, tieflings.
We got to wrap up because something may explode in Max's pants pretty soon if we don't.
All right.
Taliesin, I want to say to you as your friend, and I know you're going to hate this, but you make memorable characters and you make memorable choices that I think have a bigger impact than we can see just because we see the response online. Jesus Christ, I'm not nearly drunk enough to start crying. We see the. I looked at everything this weekend.
I knew it was
because
going to happen. Matt's
I wanted
already
to get a
choked
feel
up.
for what was happening with the community so that Danny and I could hone the questions into the most concentrated ones for what we wanted to ask. And I just want to say that this character meant a lot to a lot of different types of people. And it's a testament to
Damn, man, Brian is
your heart
choked up.
that people connected so much with this character. And so I just want to say
I'm surprised
we're gonna miss him,
Taliesin.
but
Oh,
I
he
can't
started
wait
with-
to see
I'm surprised he's held it together
what
so
happens
much.
next.
I
If
thought
it's
he'd be the
this
most
week, if it's
emotional of
a couple
anybody.
months down the line, I don't know, but
I'm excited for what comes next, but I'm really thank you.
We've known each other for a long time. We've played a lot of games together, and I want you in every game I play.
yeah, dude, for sure.
I was doing okay until you fuckers started.
Sorry, dude. God damn
I'm
it.
like really mad at both of you.
I spend.
before I cry.
Danny's the Danny cam. Danny's over here crying.
Well,
I feel like the only one held it together is Ashley.
that's it. That's all the time we have for tonight. Stick around for Talk to Machina After Dark. Critical Role, Campaign 2, Episode 27 airs this week. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Taliesin. Thank you, guys, for all the great questions and support and
Great
love.
episode. That's it
Please,
for Molly
please,
for
please,
now, I guess.
This week,
Matt was the
more
most.
than any, don't forget to love each other.
emotional.
And don't worry, it's almost Thursday. Good night, everybody.
Bye,
Love you, Tal.
Molly. All right, guys. So there is the episode 26 Molly death episode, I'm going to call it, because at this point, here's the thing. Up until I just saw this, I still had a slim hope that there is a way to bring him back because of Molly's character. If it was anyone else, I would have been like, holy shit, this person just died. But Molly being Molly made me think that it is so early in this campaign that there's no way they killed off one of their main characters. And I've never seen it before, and I've said many times that I thought these people were like bulletproof or they had plot armor. I know you guys have told me they could die, but I thought a lot would have to happen for them to die. I didn't think Molly could go in guns blazing, do blood maledict, and then basically expend all his life-saving throws. And in my mind, the fact that he would do it so willy-nilly, yes, it is Molly's character. Yes, it's in the character of Molly to do something like that. But there is a difference between not caring about life in the sense of like, I'm just going to do what I want to do when I want to do it. There's a difference between that mentality and just running into certain death. Like he's saying, I had a 50% chance. He's literally in this episode saying I had a 50% chance. And I figure, well, the dice were rolling bad, so I'm going to roll good. I know gamblers like that. I said it during the episode, but I didn't go into detail. I know gamblers like that that will literally, anytime they see the roulette wheel, anything higher than like 8 of the same color in a row, they will bet the other color that hasn't hit yet until it hits. I've seen my cousin bet tens of thousands of dollars on the other color and it came out like black 16 times in a row. I swear to God. I've seen it happen multiple times. I've seen black or red come out 16 times in a row, at least 2 or 3 times in my life. There is still a 50-50 chance of it going black or red. It doesn't matter if it hit black 16 times in a row. It doesn't increase the odds of the 17th roll. It just is what it is. And the fact that he put his life on the line over something like that, I mean, that is the character, I guess. He's a gambler, but not on your life, I feel like. I know some of the crazy, like if you're a good gambler, you don't gamble with your life. That mean in my mind, it was just a really bad choice. And I'm not going to rag on him because I'm sure he feels miserable about it. The only thing I thought was odd in the end is how he explains it all, where he's like, the way I look at it is like, at least I saved Bo's life. It wasn't like he ran in there and was like, Bo, I'm coming to save you. And he died for Bo. Everyone ran in like crazy people. And Matt even said there that any one of them at any moment could have died. It just happened that Molly was the closest. Lorenzo selected him. But then at the end there, he also said he's acting like I faced life head on and like every confrontation I had, I just conquered it. Yet, even though he's right in this life, I feel like that is easy to do when you don't remember anything past 2 years ago. It's very easy to just run full steam ahead when you're trying to run from the past. I don't think that was like a good thing. I think that was like a bad thing. He was running head first into everything, which is how he died, because he's constantly running from his past, which he never faced, which he should have. I felt like, I don't know. I almost have like resentment that he did what he did because now we never get to learn about him, and he did it for almost selfish reasons. And I said this most of the time, and I love the character, and I'm just saying what I feel, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. I just feel like his entire 26 episodes was very selfish, and yes, that's Molly's character. But then in the end there, it's like his choice affected the entire campaign, like everything. And whatever, we're all upset, we're all sad. Matt feels guilty as hell. I feel bad. I'm saying what I'm saying because I almost feel that Matt feels guilty. Like Matt feels like he did it, or Ashley feels like she did it. And to be honest with you, it's his fault. He ran into a situation he wasn't prepared for and wasn't qualified for at the time, and he died. And I just feel like it's a sad moment. And I just want everyone to know it's his fault and not their fault because everyone's so upset. And I feel bad for him too. And I love Tal'dorei. And I think his characters are amazing. And I don't know. I am just like half coming to the realization that it actually is true. Because as emotional as they all got, unless they are selling me the greatest bag of goods ever, Molly's dead. And in the weirdest way, that is my tribute to him because I love the character. And if anything, I'm just angry that I never get to see any more of him. You guys let me know what you think. You want to see more of what I do, full unedited episodes, all the shows on the channel, seasons out of what you're seeing, hundreds of exclusives you'll only see on Patreon. The link is in front of me. Dozens of shows you'll never see on YouTube. I just don't have time to edit it all. Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Eureka, and Infinity Train just started. We will be jumping into episode 27 this coming week. We'll probably do a live stream tomorrow for something if it's not Escape from Bloodkeep. And I will be getting out the alpha talk of this and the past 3 episodes Sunday. Check it out. If not, comments down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.